Hey guys, so all you're gonna need for this eyebrow tutorial are these two products, the LA Girl Pro Conceal, my favorite go-to concealer, and the NYX Eyebrow Cake Powder. So, as you can see, my eyebrows are a hot mess. I basically have curly eyebrows, so they do what they want and I deal with it. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and start with the concealer. I'm just prepping it. I'm just gonna put it on the back of my hand to show you how much I'm going to be using, not very much. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and start with the NYX or NYX brow powder. It comes with a little spoolie in there, so you can go ahead and just brush your eyebrows in an upwards motion and kind of smooth it out to give them a good shape to start with. Um, this is really necessary for getting that natural look. So I go ahead and use that nice dark grayish brownish black color, um, and I feel like this actually goes better with my hair and complexion, um, instead of using a dark brown or a black pencil, because those just end up looking crazy on me. So I just start in a sweeping motion from the end of my eyebrow moving inwards. I try not to get too much on the brush at once because I do still want it to look natural, and not super duper dark. So I just kind of follow the hair follicles and just move in an upward and sweeping motion. As you can see, it's really starting to take shape now. Filled in a lot of the gaps. Looks like an actual eyebrow now. It's great. So I'm just going with a little bit more before I move on to the next brow. So again, I'm starting from the end of that brow and then kind of bringing up the residual powder towards the front of my eyebrow. So one thing to remember with this whole process is that it does not have to be perfect. Your eyebrows are meant to be sisters, not twins. Matter of fact, they can just be cousins that just look alike a little bit, okay? They don't have to be perfect. Super duper perfect eyebrows tend to look like you tatted them onto your face, and it just really doesn't look good on me personally, so I just try to get a perfect natural, if that makes sense. So I go back in with that spoolie just to lighten it up. I am pushing pretty hard just to fade that powder in and make sure that it blends really well with my hairs, so you can't tell that I really even put powder. So finally I'm going to use that angled brush, and this is really to clean up any mistakes and get that nice crisp look. I'm only taking that much at a time on this brush because one mistake I see people make a lot of the time is kind of glopping the concealer on, and if you do that, it's really hard to blend. Another thing to remember is you need to get a concealer that's actually your skin tone. If you wouldn't use that concealer to cover a pimple on some other part of your face, you probably shouldn't use it for your eyebrows, unless that's the look that you're actually going for. So I'm just basically smashing it into my face with my finger, and pulling it downwards just so it blends really well and you can't see that sharp line there where I apply the concealer. I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing on the other eyebrow. The trick to this is starting a little further away from your eyebrow, and getting the shape you want, and then going over that line that you already drew pretty lightly and slightly moving closer and closer to the brow, and that'll give you the neatest look, and it'll stop you from erasing half of the brow that you just spent all that time powdering onto your face, basically. So I applied it, and then I'm kind of dragging it down to help with the blending process. And you are definitely welcome to use a sponge to blend it further. Depends on my mood. If I'm being lazy, I will use my finger, which is majority of the time. and other times I will get my beauty blender, use the corner of it. Actually, it's a Real Technique sponge. Use the corner of it a little wet with either water or a setting spray and go in and just kind of dab, trying not to erase my work, just to get that nice polished look. And so this part's optional. You can go in on the top with about a third of the amount you used on the bottom of the brows, starting from the end and kind of using the residual on the brush and smoothing it towards the front. You really don't want halo brows. It's not a good look. If for Halloween you want to be halo brow girl, you can do that. But basically, to keep it looking natural, use a tiny amount on the top. Go ahead and dab it in with your finger. Here I'm just kind of touching up the front because I felt like it looked a little too neat. And there you go, you have one natural brow done. And I just did the same thing to the other side. Fold it up with the brush. Smeared it with my finger. Very advanced technique here, guys. After smearing it, I just check the ends of my brows and make sure they don't go out too far. You do not want to have long brow. That looks very... It just looks weird if your eyebrows are too long. They shouldn't extend past that angle that's naturally created with your eye. And on this part, I'm just using a little Q-tip to dab off the remainder that I felt like you could see. You can't see it too clearly on camera, but in person I didn't want any kind of line showing that I had outlined my brows really. And I don't have anything on the Q-tip, I'm literally just rubbing. And we are done! Remember, sisters, not twins. So this is the final look. I did go and put a little bit more makeup on, but usually on a day-to-day basis, I will just do the eyebrows and walk out of the door. I hope you liked it. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, leave them down below.